Please win. You don't even know what this is.
So a couple of days ago, I got the chance to see Captain America Brave New World in theaters. And, I didn't make a review on it then, because when I got home, obviously I checked the internet, I checked Jeremy Johns, I checked to see if Chris Stuckman uploaded anything, and when he doesn't, that's already a bad sign. You know, I checked for Tyron Magnus. And then, you know, they were all saying pretty much the same stuff, so I was like, what's the... Jesus Christ, the dog got off the bed. He had a late start, I guess, that I was going to end up saying anyway, so I was like, I don't really see a point in recording and editing and all that shit, so I kind of brushed it aside. And then I got the chance to see it again last night, because a friend of mine got to miss out on it. Reasons I don't need to explain, but I took him to see it just because he wanted to see it, and then he absolutely hated it. And I did not see anyone really absolutely hating it online, so I was like, why? And, you know, he broke it down for me, and then it kind of opened my eyes to why this movie was, yeah, not the greatest. When I first saw it, I didn't mind it. I thought the CGI was good for, you know, Marvel right now. Yeah, there were a couple of shots, especially in the last Red Hulk fight scene. There were some moments of CGI questionability, but I thought it was pretty harmless. I thought it was as good as, like, the second Ant-Man movie. The original, the first Ant-Man and the Wasp film. I thought it was on par with that. I had fun with it. It wasn't anything groundbreaking, but it got me lost in a movie for a little while, which is exactly why I go to the theaters, to get lost and not realize, you know, the real world kind of sucks ass right now. And then when I rewatched it, I was starting to notice a shit ton of flaws, especially on a filmmaking standpoint. Let's start with the negatives, because there are positives. I think there's more negatives than positives, but there's enough positives to make this from being a completely asinine Madam Web experience. Starting with the first negative, the editing. Yeah, the editing, not so great. It's very clear that there are reshoots. And yes, if you were following anything going on with the behind the scenes of this movie, there were a shit ton of reshoots, to the point where they were reshooting this movie in December. Last December. That's insane. 2 months before the movie fucking came out. Actually, a month and like 2 weeks before the movie came out, because the movie came out early February. And that's already not a good sign. And with the editing already being pretty atrocious, and a little bit, well, I wouldn't say hard to follow, but it's a little, you have to use your brain power to really follow what's going on in the movie. It wasn't, hard to notice, you know, what scenes were reshoots, especially with, Gustavo Fring coming in. I don't know why he was in this movie, but he was, and he ruled, for the times he was in. He was very menacing, but that guy pretty much has to just show up, in order to, make a scene menacing. But it was very clear to me that those scenes were reshoots, and I could also tell with the, Israel Black Widow character, there were definitely reshoots with that, and it's understandable why, but, that, it just made that character feel like they had no business being in the movie. Cause like the first act of the movie, she's in it for like 3 minutes, and she's pretty much antagonistic figure. Like 7 scenes later, she's helping us escape. Did we miss a scene? Like, she was very easily convinced, within the movie. I'm not gonna get into spoilers, but yeah, long story short, editing, not the greatest, because not only are there flaws in the storytelling with the editing, but there's also very clear, editing choices that, open up the floodgates to, making it very clear that, reshoots happened. Negative number 2, story's not all that great. There is an interesting idea with the story that happens, especially with, I mean, it's all over the trailers. Why do I keep saying that? The Dead Celestial Arishin, I believe is Arishin, right? I don't know, one of the Celestials that came out of the Indian Ocean in Eternals finally getting addressed. Apparently it has been something happening behind the scenes in the MCU, and they make that very clear, and I'm actually very glad to hear that, because that had to get explained. It's a gigantic celestial mass inside the Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean! Very close to certain countries. It's a plot point throughout the movie that Thaddeus Ross is trying to get this treaty signed. They really don't make that the main theme of the movie, and it kind of makes me a little angry. It kind of, the more they start gearing away from that, every time they go to a scene that doesn't tackle with the it just feels like that scene was just there to address the celestial mass in the ocean. It didn't really feel like it was driving the movie itself forward. It was one of those scenes where it felt like this was just being an MCU filler movie, just to get some, plot holes fixed. And that kind of made me angry, I'm not gonna lie. I really wanted to see another political drama based on certain aspects that we've never seen before done in one of these types of espionage Marvel films. Like, yeah, Winter Soldier, it ruled because of what this movie was trying to do. This movie was trying to be Winter Soldier, and it was not Winter Soldier, honestly. The only thing that it sucks is that it's not Winter Soldier. But it was trying to be Winter Soldier, and that's exactly what it didn't need to do. Because they did, like I said, they did not go for storyline. I think that would have added some political intrigue, and it was intriguing me. I'm like, ooh, where are they going to go with this? And no, they just went up to, someone's being mind controlled into attacking other people that has super soldier serum, which moves on to negative number 3. This movie is just Captain America Winter Soldier. Well, I'd say 0.5, honestly. This is literally just Winter Soldier all over again. There's an assassination attempt on a big name character by a super soldier who's being mind controlled by a greater threat that is hiding behind the scenes and is trying to rid the world of certain aspects. Thaddeus Ross is just the Nick Fury role in this movie, aside from a little bit of Red Hulkiness. Yeah, pretty much the same amount of screen time Nick Fury got in Winter Soldier. But this is just a lesser Winter Soldier, and that's exactly what it didn't need to be. I was very scared it was gonna be this, especially when I saw that first teaser. Next negative, the choreography and cinematography. They're both dog shit. The fight scenes in this movie, when the CGI is better than the choreography in a Marvel film, especially a Captain America film, you've done something wrong. The hand-to-hand combat in this movie was actual dog shit. There is a clip online that actually shows one of the worst action scenes in the movie. I couldn't tell if he got his ass kicked because the cinematography and the direction was very ass. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why they didn't keep the same people that did the cinematography and choreography for Winter Soldier, Winter Falcon, Captain America Falcon the Winter Soldier. Because that show had incredible action scenes, I will say that. Yeah, I didn't like the last episode, but I liked everything prior, and I can't say anything bad about the action scenes because they're very great, handled very well. I don't know why they couldn't have kept that, but the director and the cinematographer, they don't know how to zoom out. They don't know the zoom out button. Like, it was very, very close quarters. It felt very claustrophobic. I felt like I was like, there was a couple of instances where Sam was actually going past the camera with how fast he was going. He wasn't even going fast, he was just running or flying or something. Whatever he was doing, there was a couple of instances where the camera was so zoomed in on him that he went past the camera. And another bad scene of cinematography, there's a scene where Sam and Joaquin are about to go investigate a certain area. and he gets his shield out of the car. And there's like a zoom in that's kind of hinting, oh, they're going to start zooming in on the shield when he gets it out and puts it on. But the shot's not lined up with the shield. The shield's actually half out of frame, but they're still zooming in towards the shield. A lot of filmmaking choices in this that questioned a lot. And then when I looked up the director, I found out he did Cloverfield Paradox. And that movie had the exact same problems of cinematography this movie has. Yeah, it felt like this was the director's fault. It did. It just felt very uninspired. It felt very like, paycheck gimme. It didn't really feel like he was, it just didn't really feel like they were trying to do anything special with this. They just felt like they were trying to do what they thought fans wanted. Actually, not even that. This didn't really feel like much fan service until, like, Red Hulk. But that felt more like a producer's thing, the Red Hulk stuff, because that just felt like it came out last minute. All the Red Hulk stuff at the end. That felt very, like, reshooty producer, like, corporate. Oh, we need a big villain, a big bad thing for the marketing. That's what Red Hulk felt like. That felt like producer shit. One last negative, it's also kind of a positive. Thaddeus Ross. This movie needed Thaddeus Ross to at least be a little bit intriguing, but the thing is, he is the only emotional, like, cause Harrison Ford fucking ruled in this movie, I'll say that. And it was that reason why I was really watching this movie just for Thaddeus Ross, to the point where I'm like, why didn't we get a Thunderbolt Ross movie about him going through, because there are certain things that happen to him in the movie that we find out about him in the movie that I really would have liked to seen on film, because I would like to see what drove that character, and what events caused that character to go in that route. They just kind of talk about his past, and they talk about the time that he had between Civil War and this movie, and I really wanted to see that the more they talked about it. You also gotta hand it to Harrison Ford. He did not just show up. He actually tried with this one, and I was very nervous, cause, with Harrison Ford's track record, especially with Star Wars, he usually just shows up for these kinds of things, especially when it comes to, stuff he's not interested in. Hence, Indiana Jones, and, oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. But, he did not just show up. He had some very emotional scenes. I wouldn't say I cried along with him, but, enough to make me interested in the character, feel for him and show some actual change to him, I liked that. But those are all the negatives. There's only 3 positives this movie has in my eyes, and I kind of just explained the Thaddeus Ross one, so. Number 2 being, the villain. The actual villain, like the main villain. I didn't mind him. It was a villain I've been waiting for a long time now, especially when it got kicked back up into high gear when they announced him for, back when the movie was called New World Order. They announced him as the villain, and, or at least that actor was coming back. They announced that, and it's like, obviously he's playing that character, okay. I'm not gonna spoil it if you guys, cause that was a long time ago when this movie got announced, especially the cast. So I'm not gonna spoil it, but, I was happy with it. There were a couple of scenes where I was like, well, that line of dialogue was iffy, but he looks cool, he looks intimidating, I do not want to even be up close to that, but, yeah, I don't want this guy to actually be existing in the real world, which is what one of these villains needs to feel like. When it's a villain in a Captain America, a movie that is grounded as much as this, you need to have a character, that you do not want to see, on the political side in the real world. You don't want to see this kind of a character. The character, has a power to, okay, the best way I could describe it is, if you've ever seen Men in Black 3, it's Griffin from Men in Black 3. That's pretty much what we're dealing with here. And if it's a character like that, that has not only a very brilliant mind, but also the powers of that character in Men in Black 3. Yeah, you don't want that on the bad side of the political spectrum, if you want to say that. He wasn't given justice in this movie. I don't think he was, really living up to what the character could be in this movie, but it was enough for me to be like, yeah, I do kind of want to see him again. I can't wait to see him again, because the post-credit scene does hint that we're going to see him again. And I really like Tim Blake Nelson. I really love that actor, so seeing him go ham with this role is also very fun to watch. He does go ham with this role, and I love it. You can see he's clearly having fun, especially even with all that makeup on him. But the last positive I have for this movie is the CGI. And even that's kind of mid. But the CGI for Red Hulk is actually really good. I was not expecting the Harrison Ford Hulk to look as fine as it did. There were a couple of scenes, especially with him, there was a point where he jumped off of the White House going after Sam, and it looked a little strange, stuff like that. But when there's a wide shot of him, it doesn't look half bad, and he was very intimidating. I was a little mad he didn't breathe fire or anything like that. I'm pretty sure he can breathe fire, from what I remember. They didn't really show much hinting that, yeah, his skin is basically on fire all the time. They didn't really show much of that. They did hint it at the very end when he was in the cherry blossoms, and the cherry blossom hit his skin, and it immediately singed into pieces, into ash. But that's not enough for me. I wanted to see Sam, that scene, the scene in the trailer. Okay, if I was directing this movie and I was making a Red Hulk fight scene, there's a shot of Sam and Red Hulk doing a final standoff. And they're like, "You want me? Come and get me!" Instead of the roaring, it would have been good if it was one of those Godzilla scenes when he was fighting the Mutos in the 2014. And he's building up his atomic breath, and you feel it coming through, and then it's boom! It lets out, and the music just shuts off for a minute. Oh, that would have been glorious. But no, he just kind of does a shitty CGI move where he cuts a car in half. But whatever. Those are pretty much the only positives. The aerial combat is shot very well, but then again, it doesn't have to be shot well. It's CG. It was all CGI, so it's kind of hard to mess that up. But you'd be surprised in Marvel history. I'm probably never gonna watch this movie again. Not gonna lie. I would watch clips from this movie again. I would, when this comes out on Disney Plus, and it comes out on IMAX on Disney Plus, I will watch some of this movie in IMAX. Just because there's a lot of points in this movie where it's whoa, that's happening, whoa, oh, okay, whoa, oh, that's happening over there, whoa, whoa. You're bouncing your head around, looking at that part of the screen and looking at that part of the screen, where it should be, you're centered on the screen. That's what good cinematography is. I don't want to have to be oh, Sam, oh, he's over there, oh, and he's running. I do have to agree with Rotten Tomatoes on this one. I think it's at a 50% right now. Let's America Brave New World. Oh, it went down to 49. Oh my god! Google users hated this movie. Oh, Jesus. What is the box office for it right now? Because this movie was very expensive to make. I know that. Uh-oh. Oh! Ooh! Shit, that's terrible! Oh! As of 6 hours ago, it's only grossed $289 million. That's a problem. Ooh. Man. What was obviously it launched with a good amount, I know that. It only grossed $28 million this weekend. Dude, that's a 70% drop. Oh. Because domestically it made, up till that point, $141 million, and then this weekend it only grossed $28 million. Dude, that's not good. That's actually, really bad. Oh my god, that's Batman v Superman levels of drop. I need Thunderbolts now. because I already know this movie's gonna be like, oh, the MCU's dead again. It's never coming back. Like, I should have made a video talking about this because I have a lot of strong feelings of it. I don't think the MCU's dead. I don't. The thing is, I think Marvel can still make good, decent films, and they've proven time and time and again that they can, especially with like stuff like No Way Home. No Way Home, Shang-Chi. I like Shang-Chi, at least like the first hour and a half. Trying to think, like Phase 4. It's been so long ago. I liked what was it? Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I liked Loki. I liked a lot of. I liked a majority of the TV shows that Disney Plus gave us. But people need to realize, Marvel hasn't had the greatest track record. Period. Phase 1 only has like 2 good movies stripped to its name. Say what you will about like Captain America and Thor, but Incredible Hulk, that was dull. It was very dull. Obviously Iron Man was a hit. Iron Man 2 was not a hit. It ruined and botched a perfectly decent comic run that honestly I can't believe we're never gonna see done in live action, at least in my lifetime. Demon in a Bottle. But Thor was also very boring. I don't really like Shakespeare shit, so sue me, I didn't really like that, but Thor was a win for most people, so there's that. And then Captain America was fine. It was just fine. And then obviously the Avengers was a hit. My point is, they've already had bad movies coming out since then. People forgot Thor: The Dark World. People forgot about Iron Man 2. People forgot about fucking Iron Man 3. Actually, Iron Man 3 was fine. But still, it wasn't the greatest, and that's most movies Marvel's making now. So, why is this any different? I mean, yeah, they did like shit like Eternals and Ant-Man 3, but like, Ant-Man 3 was honestly the same enjoyment level as Iron Man 3 for me. I was invested as much as I was in Iron Man 3. There was a couple of things that were interesting about the movies, but they still didn't land on their feet. Long story short, I don't think the MCU can recapture the hype during Phase 3 era again, unless they do something insanely cool with the X-Men. I think the only way they can recapture that again is if they build up the Phoenix Saga. If they build up the Phoenix Saga and they use the MCU as a way to build up to the Phoenix Saga, I think that would be a very, very satisfying payoff, and I really hope they're going in that route, because I know after Doomsday and all that shit, they're going very hard into the X-Men. They already announced they're making an X-Men thing for, I believe it was Disney Plus. I would wait to Disney Plus on this one, not gonna lie. But thank you so much for watching, and those shout-outs I gave in the beginning, tell them I sent you, because then it gives me some credibility. It was, who did I even say in the beginning? It was Jeremy Johns, Tyron Magnus, Chris Fuckman, and Real Rejects, right? I don't remember. It was like a half an hour ago. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.